Welcome to Motherhood in ADHD. I'm your friend, Patricia Sun. My mission is to be a lighthouse for mothers with ADHD, helping you find your path to success by learning to appreciate your ADHD as an asset. I'm seeking to change the paradigm that ADHD means your life is doomed to be a hot mess. So I'm sharing strategies and encouraging you in your pursuit of happiness to love who you are every day of your ADHD life. Hey there, Successful Mama. It's your friend, Patricia. So I just went back and listened to this episode, and I was boring myself. It was so terrible. I had zero energy, and I sounded like I was getting sick or something. So I scrapped it, and we're starting over. Hopefully this one's a lot better on the second try. Okay, so I've been doing this series called Take Care of Yourself because I think it's really important for moms to take some time for themselves because we cannot pour from an empty cup. It's just not possible. And so you can go back and listen to the first installment, which was talking about making time for yourself. And one of the really great ways to make time for yourself is exercise. And it always makes me laugh because I keep talking about these things that I'm not good at. But, I don't have to be great at them to tell you my experiences about them and how they've helped me. And so I have to remind myself that I am a work in progress and I don't have to be the most exercisey person out there to talk to you about the progress that I've made and how it has made my life so much better. So, why on earth did I even start exercising? Good question. I'm going to keep this short because I know I'll do a whole episode on my ridiculous health problems that have popped up since I've had my kids. But the short version is after I had my first son, his birth was the traumatic event that spurred my psoriatic arthritis. When I hit about a year and a half after he was born, I was still really uncomfortable and realized okay, this isn't just after birth changes, this is a problem. And so I've been dealing with that. And then after the birth of my second son, and during my pregnancy, I have had symphysis pubis dysfunction, which simply put is that my pelvic bones are not staying in the place that they should be because pelvic bones should not move and mine move. So having these two major health issues come up after being a relatively healthy person, I really took my health for granted throughout my 20s and early 30s because I had it and I didn't realize what I was missing until I didn't have it anymore. And so I'm really hoping that when you hear my story that you don't have to have some kind of health crisis to realize that this is important like I did, and that you can find a way to make sure that you're being healthy in your own way. Because for me, my choice is either take care of my health or hobble around like a decrepit old woman with arthritis. And I honestly just got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to live like this. I can't live like this. It's not realistic. I couldn't even carry my kids. By the end of the day, it hurt so bad. The thing is, when you have health issues, you start learning way more than you ever thought you were going to know about the topic. And I've learned that a lot of people who have low back pain, really the issue is something else. Your back is a really strong muscle and it carries you around and does a lot of work for you when it shouldn't. So if something else is not working, a lot of times your back will take on that extra work to alleviate whatever your problem is. And that was what was happening with me. And so my low back pain had gotten so bad that by the end of the day, I couldn't finish cooking dinner without taking a break because my back hurt so badly. And that's when I realized, this is a serious issue and I've got to get something, to change something about this. On a whole other tangent, I'll have to talk to y'all one day about, finding the right doctor because that is key. But I found the right doctor. She figured out what was actually wrong with me. And instead of treating the symptoms like everybody else had been doing all this time, she actually was fixing the problem. But that includes me doing physical therapy multiple times a week. And the thing about physical therapy is you go and do your physical therapy with your therapist, depending on your situation, 1, 2, 3 times a week. But the other 4, 5, 6 days, whatever it is, left in the week, you're responsible for doing those activities, and you're the one who has to be putting in the work. So I had to figure out, I obviously couldn't run anymore, which I wasn't really a runner. I would say I was more of a jogger before kids, but I couldn't do that anymore because that high impact, just my body couldn't handle it at the time. I still can't handle that, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel where I think I'll be able to get there again. Whereas at the beginning of this process, I didn't ever think that was possible. But so I had to figure out, now I can't run, and I couldn't do I used to do an outdoor boot camp with a bunch of other ladies. Those options weren't a choice anymore. That was just too hard on my body. So I had to look into what are the things that I can do that are low impact that will allow my body to heal, and I could re-strengthen all the core muscles that were not being utilized like they should. So obviously I had health crises that drove me to this realization, but there are a lot of other benefits, which obviously you can Google cardiovascular benefits. I think pretty much, unless you live under a rock, that exercise is good for you. But let's talk about specifically ADHD brains. It is such an important part of your treatment plan. You can't just pick one thing and think that doing one treatment is going to solve all your problems, because what we have is a brain that functions differently. And so it affects everything that we do. So that means that our plan of attack on how we're going to deal with our differences has to be multifaceted as well, because it affects our life in so many ways. That means that our treatment must be so many ways in order to balance that out. There have been studies that show that physical activity decreases the severity of ADHD symptoms, as well as improving your cognitive functions. Keep in mind that a lot of the studies that have been done on this are with children, but if it works with their brains, obviously it works just as well with a bigger brain. I wish that there were more studies on adult ADHD and fill in the blank anything else, but it's still a new thing and people haven't gotten around to studying it yet. So, we got to use what we have to work with. Anyway, as I was mentioning, when you talk about your full treatment plan, the good thing about exercising, there's no harm in that. There's always a lot of controversy when it comes to medication and, the different types of therapies and all that stuff. Everybody's got an opinion on everything, but no one can argue that exercise is bad for you. Unless you're just doing it wrong, I guess you could hurt yourself, but really there's no harm in trying out exercise as part of your treatment plan. It can be free and is easy to implement. So that's a great way to add another tool to your toolkit in how to deal with your ADHD. Another great part of exercise is that it releases dopamine, which when you have an ADHD brain, you have less dopamine. So that's a totally natural way to increase that in your brain. And that's what a stimulant medicine does, is it increases your dopamine. So you're just, again, adding another tool in your toolkit of how to manage your ADHD. Another great benefit is that it increases the levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which, big words, means it's a protein that you need in your brain in order to learn and remember things better. And we have less of that as someone with ADHD. So again, here's another thing that your brain automatically gets a natural increase of when you exercise. So how do we put this into action into our life? Let's overcome some of those hurdles together. One, my kids. What am I going to do with them while I'm exercising? If you have a newborn, if you are in that rough stage, mama, of the first 3 to 4 months that you have a baby, my Lord, get out of the house. Get out of your house every day. Take a walk. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to be, training for a marathon here. If that's your deal, more power to you. But most of us just need to take it slow, get out of the house, get some sunlight, walk around the neighborhood with your baby in the stroller or on a carrier. Just get out of the house and take a walk. Best idea ever. If you have older kids, just, you can find an activity that you can do with them. We have this adorable book. I think it's called You Are a Lion, and I'll link to it on my show notes. It's so cute, but it has all these little yoga poses that you can do with your kids, and they're all nature related, a lion, a butterfly, a mountain, that kind of stuff. And that's a great way to introduce that and do fun things with your kids. So depending on their age, get them out there and do some activity with them. Chances are, if you're a mama with ADHD, one of your mini-me's is going to have it too, so it's time to instill that habit now. Another option is to find a gym with childcare. Another way is to just go to the playground, let your kids run around on the playground equipment, and you can, off to the side, do some yoga, do some boot camp while they're playing. So there's plenty of ways to get that done when your kids are with you.
Are they more difficult? For sure, but they're still doable.
Okay, next thing. I'm sure you're thinking, I don't have the money for that. Well, first of all, you have plenty of free options. Use your ADHD creativity and start thinking about how you can move that's free. Obviously, walking, running, simple things like push-ups, those are free. So if that's where you are in your pocketbook right now, find those 3 things. Also, there are lots of, Pilates studios and specialty studios that will let you try a class for free. If you have 10 studios near your house, do a free class at each one. That covers like a whole month of working out, if not longer, by giving them all a whirl. Plus, then you get a chance to see different things, figure out what you like. And our ADHD brain does better with new and shiny things. So that's a great way to just mix it up. Next, just ask around for ideas. I think a lot of times we're just afraid to put out there like, hey, I want to work out more, because you feel like you're admitting that you're totally out of shape. You never know what you're going to get when you put that out into the universe of here's what I need. And one of the ways that totally worked in my favor is that we were telling a friend about how we were trying to figure out a solution for my husband, because he has a gym at his work, but if he works out after work, he gets home at the same time that our youngest is going to bed and he doesn't even get to see him. So he was like, I need a place that I can work out closer to the house and be able to go after bedtime. Well, it turns out that there is a church by us that has a ministry where they have very low cost gym membership. And then for me, they have childcare 3 mornings a week that's included. And so that's an amazing resource out there that I didn't even know existed. But because I happened to be brave enough to say, hey, we're looking for this solution, someone told us, hey, did you know about this? And we found that great option. So the 2 of us have a membership there, and it's $40 a month for both of us, which is super amazing. But I also want to give you something to think about here, is that if you're going to invest money in something, out of all the things that you could put your money into, why is your health, and we're talking mental health here plus physical health, why is that not at the top of the priority list? We have no problem spending money, like impulse buys on, random like shopping sprees at midnight for some shirt we don't even need, but yet when we want to get healthy, we're not willing to put that money into it. Like, that just sounds crazy, but we all do it. And so that's what I had to tell myself when I started doing Pilates, which is really great for my health issues that I was having because it's so low impact. But y'all, Pilates is expensive. But then I looked at it as like, okay, if I spend $1,000 or $2,000 over the next year, and I am this much healthier, and I've lost this much weight, and I whatever goal you've set before yourself in that amount of time. If someone was like, hey, if you could pay me $2,000, you'll be 15 pounds lighter and way stronger at the end of the year, people be like, oh, cool, I'll spend that money, because they know that guaranteed result is there. But that's the same thing when you put that money into your health, into your working out. If you pay that money and you put the time commitment in, you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better about yourself. So like, not to like be a total downer, but like if you can spend money on junk, you can surely spend money on something that's important to you, like being alive. Okay, let's move along before I go too crazy on my soapbox there. Weather. I know some people live in snowy climates. God bless you. I'm not doing that again. An option is to do mall walks. I used to work in the mall when I was a teenager, and people would always walk around the mall. It's air conditioned in the summer. It's dry when it's raining. That is a great place to walk around. They do it in the morning before it opens. You always see like these little like grandmas with their power walking. They're so cute in little groups. So it's a great way to walk with a friend too. Weather's great. Try it out. Accountability. Start a mom's workout group or meet with a friend, or walk with a friend and just talk to them while you walk around. Find that person who's going to be there with you and make you get out the door to go do that. Another hurdle we've got to come over is just being scared. We don't want to look dumb. We go to this class, we don't know what they're doing. Like I have a 1-month yoga membership for next month, and I don't know anything about yoga. I'm not a yogi, but I just show up when I go to these classes for the first time. Like I was telling you about, like, we just started at that new gym. I just go in and I'm like, I've never done this before. What do I do? And there's going to be somebody there who's sweet and is like, oh, here, grab this equipment from over here and you can stand by me. I mean, people are really kind. And like, if you're worried about them not knowing that you don't know what you're doing, like, they know you've never been there before because they would have seen you. So it's not like a surprise to them that this person they've never seen before hasn't been here before. So just ask. Everyone's been really kind so far at all the places that I've tried out. And remember, we're trying to be brave, not perfect. I just laugh it off. Like, I'm not expecting myself to execute perfect yoga next month, but if I don't try, I'm never going to get any better at it. So I have to give it a try and be terrible at it before I can get to the point where I'm good at it. Like, nobody's just magically wonderful at anything. Like, you had to practice a lot to get there. So just jump in. We can do it. Another hurdle is feeling guilt or shame, like I shouldn't be taking this time for myself. And we just got to put that aside, mama. You need to tell yourself that you are not being selfish. Like, being healthy is one of the best things you can do for your kids, so that, one, you're setting that mindset to them that being healthy is important because you want your kids to be healthy. You want them to live a long time. So that's a mindset we need to instill in our children. Like, they don't need a mom who can't run around outside and play with them. Like, if that needs to be your motivation, like, let that be the flag that you are carrying with your warrior cry. Like, if you don't feel like you should do it for yourself, then for dang sure, you better be doing it for your kids because they need you. Okay, next hurdle. When you're feeling overwhelmed, like, it's been so long, where am I going to start on this? I don't even know what to do. Like I mentioned, try experimenting all those different classes, see what you like again. Because sometimes when you haven't worked out in 5-6 years, you don't even know what you're going to want to do in this new body that you have as a mom. And then take baby steps. Don't sign up for a month of yoga and then plan to go to yoga 5 days a week when you haven't worked out in 6 years. That's crazy. But we are all or nothing people, and we think that we're going to go in there and all of a sudden be amazing at something that we haven't done in so long. Why our brains do that, I don't understand. But just start with the baby step. Like, figure out one day next week that you can work out. Just one. You don't have to try to work out 6 days a week. Just start with one day next week. And when you create that schedule and you create that system that, and you're autopiloting, on Tuesdays, I go to this class or I walk with this friend, whatever it is, that's going to make a huge difference in building that routine for the future. And when you want to quit, mama, just think about why you're doing it. Think back about all the things that we talked about. Why are you doing this? And just remind yourself that that's why you're doing it. Are you doing it for your kids? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it to feel healthy? Are you doing it to feel good about yourself again? What are you doing this for? And remind yourself when you want to say, I'll just sit on the couch and eat some Cheetos instead. Like, remind yourself of why you're doing this so that you don't give up on yourself. Action step for this week. Start small, baby steps. Just think of one thing that you can do to work out next week, and I want you to write it on your calendar. If you can have an accountability partner, that's even better. But get it done next week. One workout. That's all you have to do. Just one. You can worry about the rest later, but just one right now. All right, successful mama. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, successful mama. Could you do me a favor? Could you please go to whatever platform you're listening on and leave me a review and give me all the stars? Not only does it make me feel special and loved, but it helps grow the audience so that you and I can connect with all the mamas out there and give them encouragement with their ADHD. Now, if you think my podcast is totally terrible, please don't leave me a crappy review because algorithms and things I don't understand, but I do know that it will keep my message of hope and encouragement from being spread. You're welcome to shoot me an email and vent all of your frustrations so that I can hopefully take it as constructive criticism and make this podcast even better. Thanks for helping a mama out. It takes a village.
Thank you for listening to Motherhood in ADHD. For more resources, head over to our website, www.motherhoodinadhd.com.